This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon. My name is Richie, and we welcome you to our peer-to-peer group. And let's see, I was trying to figure out Adam is on here, but I'm not too sure what's going on. But at any rate, we have some new people on. Milton, are you there?
Hey, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Because
What
I
would,
tried
I'm sorry?
uploading the software. My computer's a little old, so I'm using both the my laptop and my phone. So
Okay.
the audio is coming from my phone. My laptop is over 10 years old, so it's not. It has a camera, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Oh, okay. Not a problem. At least you're on. We would love to see you, but we understand.
Yeah.
Let's just take a few minutes. What I would like for each person to do, since we have a couple new faces on, is just introduce yourself, and then we'll go back around to see if you have anything that you would like to discuss tonight. So let's start with Milton.
Okay. My name is Milton Wade. I retired school teacher, and I am currently a caregiver for my 20-year-old son who has RMC, and so we're here in New Jersey, Newark, and he's being treated at NYU Langone. Um, yeah, so I'm here to be part of the support network, and um, well, I guess that's pretty much it. I guess as I go on, or is there any questions, and I'll happily respond to them.
Okay, and then likewise, if you have any questions, we have great support people here that would be happy to answer for you. And we welcome you. And is Mika Mika, right?
Well,
Mike,
some say me, but
Mike,
Micah.
Micah.
I
I
asked
got
him, he was what do you want to be called? He said Micah, so fine.
okay, Micah. Okay. So is he around?
I think he's resting, or he's in his room locked up. So I
Oh,
didn't want him to.
all right. All right. We have Adam. Adam, can you hear us? Okay, so can everybody see that he's typing? Okay, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Adam? Okay, he has an old laptop, so no audio or video. Okay. All right, well, let's see. He's in a risk group, so he wants to learn about REMC. Okay, so Adam, do you have sickle cell trait? Okay, all right. All right, Miss Laurie, we hadn't seen you in a couple sessions. How are you?
Thank you, Richie. I'm doing fine. I'm here as a godmother to Kwanzaa, and Kwanzaa and Michael are on the call too, so they can talk about what's going on with them. And we're just really grateful to have the support group, and really super grateful to all the people that are here and the information they've been able to give us. Just Kwanzaa will tell you more, but I think her journey started at least in October, if not last August. So, and I only got involved in November. So
Okay.
that's about all I'll share about me right now.
Well, we're happy to have you with us tonight. Hey, Mr. Michael, how are you?
Hey, I'm as good as I can be as a teacher in April of this year. But yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. See if I make it the last 10 weeks.
Of course you
Um,
will.
Oh, thank you for the vote of confidence, Richie. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm a little sad. My interns, I have 2 student teachers, and they leave next week. But outside of professional stuff, I think I'm good. I can use some sunshine in California. It's been cloudy the
Oh,
last couple days. It's weird.
oh, well, you always have beautiful weather, so let us get some of it. Share. Learn how to share. Hey, Miss Kwanzaa, how are you?
Hi everyone.
Can you
I'm
guys
doing
see?
okay.
All right, you look good.
Thank you. Even though I'm bald. Yeah, the last time you see me, I had hair. But yeah, we're kicking up to the. I was telling Miss Richie that I got some clear scans, so that's really really exciting. And I also am going to be finishing up my chemo at the end of the month, which is also great. So we're coming to a good place here in this journey rather than, what it was before. I'm also going to be starting immunotherapy. I don't know a whole bunch about it just yet, but excited to not be doing chemo. I'm over it.
All right, that is wonderful. Well, I could see a smile on your face. The last time I saw you, it wasn't so much of a smile, but good news. We're happy. Let's see, we have Aisha.
Hello everyone. It's Aisha. It's pronounced Aisha.
Okay, I'll
Um,
get it together. I'm an
no
old lady, so
problem.
chalk it up.
No problem at all.
And
Hello
it's
everyone.
Aisha.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
Aisha. I'm a caregiver for my mother, Irena Scott, who was diagnosed with RMC December of 2020. She is not around right now. She's currently in the hospital dealing with stomach pain from a side effect from her immunotherapy. So hopefully she'll be home soon within the next 2 days or so. And I just joined for more support, more information.
Okay, and where do you live?
I'm from Maryland and I live in Suitland, Maryland.
Oh, okay. I need some of those crab cakes.
Yes, they are amazing.
They are wonderful. Mr. Captain Sneed is with us.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Andre Sneed, Captain U.S. Army here. I was diagnosed with RMC back in April 2019, so I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary here. So went through the whole chemo, immunotherapy, and radiation, and I got a clear scan back in September, October, somewhere around there, 2020. So I actually got my third CT scan since I've been cleared coming up on Thursday. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, so you
Um,
coming to H-Town Thursday?
I'm in H-Town. I'm actually coming tomorrow, but yeah. Well, we
Oh,
leave tomorrow. We're driving, so.
okay. All right. Clarissa, she's eating.
Yeah, we're working a little late today, so I'm trying to catch up on eating. But I'm Carissa.
You're breaking up. Something is going on. It's
Can you
like
hear me now?
it's rattled. Do you
Can you
guys
hear
hear it? Okay.
me? Is it still rattling now?
It's not any better.
No. Let me see. Maybe if I connect to my headphones.
Yeah, it sounds like a special effect.
Yeah, it's like you're doing something in there.
You guys hear me better?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Okay, I'm Carissa. I'm from New Jersey, so Milton, I'd love to connect you with you. I'm in Wayne, so I'm not too far from you.
No, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. My husband had RMC. He was diagnosed in 2016. battled through it until like last year. So he passed away last year, April 28th. So it's almost been a year since he's been gone, but had a lot experience in a lot of different treatments. So just would love to share my input, and also had some treatments in New York, Presbyterian, as well as MD Anderson. So have experience like traveling back and forth, and kind of the nuances on like the treatments, and like help, like getting assistance with like flying back and forth and lodging in Texas.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, we welcome everyone. And for the newcomers, this meeting is really informal. We just leave it, topics or whatever you would like to talk about. Do any of you have any burning desires or any questions that you would like to ask right now?
This is Aisha. I don't have any questions at the moment.
Okay. What about you, Michael? Laurie?
None I can think of.
Oh, okay. Laurie?
I'd love to hear about the immunotherapies that people have had and any side effects they might have had. I think Andre has also had immunotherapy.
Right. Okay, Andre? And then let me ask Adam, do you have any burning questions that you would like to ask? Okay, let us know what you would like to ask us, and you guys, he's putting it in the chat box, and everyone can see it. If you can, if once he put his question in, if you can answer it, just chime in. How about you, Mr. Milton? Do you have any burning questions right now?
Um, no, but I did just just my experience, or this actually my son's experience with immunotherapy, that I could talk about that. Any other questions? I guess as we go on, I'll probably have something to
Okay.
ask.
Okay, sounds good. Clarissa, what about you? Do you have anything tonight in particular?
Not anything tonight in particular, but I'll let you know if anything comes up.
Okay, and what about you, Andre?
Nothing in particular.
Okay. Well, I'll have a few announcements by the end of the night, just to share with you a few highlights. Andre or either Milton, whichever would like to go first, to address the question that Laurie had regarding immunotherapy.
Well, I guess Andre could go first.
Okay, I'll chime in here. So I my treatment started with chemotherapy, so that worked for a while, and then the cancer stopped reacting as well to the chemo, so they tried the immunotherapy. So they gave me uh, nivolumab,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, apilimumab, something like that. I can't pronounce it, but I
If,
can.
if, it's
I
hard to
can.
pronounce. Epitomide or something.
Yeah, something like that. I can.
That's
I
the
can put
clinical
it.
trial.
Yeah, I can put it up in the chat. But yeah, that was a clinical trial. I took several cycles of those two drugs combined together, and those worked uh, pretty well for some time. But then I guess the cancer kind of adjusted, and it didn't work as well. So we ended up switching back to another different chemotherapy. So that's kind of my story with that. I didn't really have any side effects from the immunotherapy. To me, it was much easier, the immunotherapy, than the chemotherapy. Um, Personally, I mean, I didn't have any severe side effects or anything like that. So yeah.
Was it effective? Pretty effective, or?
it was pretty effective for some time. Like I think I had like 6 cycles, about 6 cycles of the immunotherapy. So it was pretty effective, for some time. But then, after a certain amount of time, I guess it gets less effective. So Dr. Missal switched me to another chemo drug.
Okay. Milton, what about you as far as Micah?
We actually, we, the oncologist, when he was first diagnosed, and we saw a urologist who, after he examined his scan, and we saw a urologist surgeon, and then the same morning, we saw a oncologist who we discussed the options of chemo and immunotherapy, and they explained what immunotherapy was to us, and they said that the manufacturer would cover the cost of it, because it was a clinical trial, not so much a clinical trial, but it's already been through clinical trials and approved. So the objective was because Micah was extremely healthy from all accounts, except for his recent diagnosis. The oncologist suggested immunotherapy because it would be less destructive to the body as chemotherapy would be, as far as the comfort and just cosmetic issues like hair loss and so on. And so we agreed to do that. And yeah, we had so that was debating whether to do that first, immunotherapy, before just trying to shrink the mass on his kidney. And the cancer became extremely aggressive, so they had to remove the kidney as opposed to. So once they had the surgery, he had the surgery, then we went straight into immunotherapy, and it seemed to be. So what we use is similar to what Andre had. It's the same, I guess, class of cancer-fighting drug, but it was Opdivo and Yervo. Those are the 2 combinations that he was on. So it was a cycle where he was on it, and eventually he would be off of one of them, because they work hand in hand. And the plan was to eventually, I think, be off of the Yervo and just eventually go to Opdivo. But what we weren't counting on was the aggressiveness of the cancer. So while he was in getting his infusion therapy, he also developed ascites, because on his scans, it showed that it was potential for peritoneal. Let me see. The word we use for metastasize. So it was there. Plus he was stage 4, and currently still has tumors in his lungs. So the idea was to try to take care of everything at once. And during the time, the peritoneal region of near his kidney and stomach, a tumor had grown and was actually cutting off circulation in one of his major veins that leads up to from his stomach to the heart. So he developed a swollen stomach ascites, and so he was hospitalized with that. He had to go to the ER because during one of the sessions of immunotherapy, he was complaining about severe pain in his abdomen, and so he was scheduled to have they did do another scan, and so he was going to have radiation again. This is the second round of radiation, and the radiologist looked at him the second day and said he has to go to the ER. He wasn't the radiologist surgeon wasn't there the first day of radiation, but when he showed up for the second day of it, he immediately said he had to go to the ER because his abdomen was extremely swollen. He was just in extreme discomfort. So he was hospitalized for 11 days. It was a touch and go situation, but after we came out of it, we went straight to radiation again. Or no, actually we did radiation in the hospital. And then when we came out, we went straight to chemotherapy. And he's been in chemotherapy ever since. So that was in February, beginning of February. So this is his, he just finished, well, he's currently in his fourth round of chemo.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a scan recently, so we had some plus and minuses with him, but currently he's staying on chemo, and they've added another drug which he started taking, which it kind of makes sense. It's a drug that's given for ovarian cancer, but it also ovarian and prostate cancer, and he has neither, of course, but it's a peritoneal, which is that abdomen area. It affects it targets that in particular. So he just started that yesterday, and during the last PET scan, it showed that around his pelvic area and where the kidney was removed, those lymph nodes have decreased in size. So so the thing about the immunotherapy, which I thought we might be going back to it, but currently, as it was explained to us, the whole idea was to it alerts the body, or trains the I guess the T cells or white blood cells that cancer is there, and it just otherwise the cancer would exist and grow. Some that it tricks the body into the body not knowing it's there. So this actually is to train the body the objective of it is to train the body to recognize any cancer and eliminate that, or just develop the immune system. So I've done some research on it as far as during the clinical trials, and compared to chemotherapy and moving forward into the future, how effective it is, and as far as the continuation of life, it seems to be very positive. And the numbers, from what I've looked, it doubles over a 5-year period, the time frame, as far as the survival rate over just someone who just has chemo. So if I feel that perhaps we should start out with chemo first,
Mm-hmm.
and because the cancer was just so aggressive that it took everyone by surprise. I guess who's unfamiliar with the aggressiveness of RMC. So in a situation which, hindsight in 2020, but I think the chemo and then the immunotherapy would have been the way to go. But here we are. So we're doing chemo right now, and hoping that things turn out pretty good, and maybe down the road we'll go revisit the immunotherapy. But the reason why we stopped it is that it's the carcinoma. It was just too aggressive for the immunotherapy to be effective.
Didn't you have some good results though? Was that from the immunotherapy or is it from the chemotherapy?
Well, here's the thing: because of his situation, there's no way. Everything happened so quick. The only thing we're sure of is that the radiation itself was what shrunk the tumors in his lungs. And so the question that was still unanswered was it just the radiation, because it was targeted radiation, or was it the combination of the radiation and the immunotherapy that was helping the tumors in his lungs? But what we weren't, although it's on the scan, as far as once his kidney was removed, and they removed 2 lymph nodes, I guess everyone relaxed and figured that was done, but there was still some lingering issues with around the abdomen and lymph node area, especially where the kidney was removed, including those lymph nodes. So there was still growth. Potentially could have been, it was there when I revisit his report, because they are good and you could share, see his any test he gets. I see the same thing his doctors see on his my chart. So it's there, but no one thought that it would grow, or the assumption wasn't there. So the aggressiveness of the cancer just took everyone, just blindsided everyone.
Right.
Yeah, and I think part of it is that he is, when his was discovered, he was originally in the pediatrics. It was in October when we discovered it, October of 2020. And he was already stage 4, but he was in the pediatric section. And then the pediatric oncologist actually said that he would get better service as an adult since he was 19. And so he was transferred over to the adult section of the hospital. Along with that, now he's by far the youngest patient in the adult section. So most of the patients that this oncologist treats are in their appears to be, from my observation, in their 70s and 80s. And so he's everyone. I noticed it when he walks in, and he's a baby compared to everyone else.
Right.
So I think they never encountered RMC from just my observation. I could be wrong, but it seems that way.
Now, has your doctor consulted with Dr. Missal?
Well, a funny thing, he's in and out as far as attending conferences, but I do know that Dr. Missal has consulted with NYU, because that's what he said. And Dr. Missal in my email said that he believes one of the patients was my son. So that was earlier on. So I do know he's my oncologist. I would say that he is attentive, and he is consulting with someone, but I guess it's doctor to doctor privacy. So I haven't pressed that issue as much, but I do know that he has petitioned for the drug that my son is currently taking. Originally, because it's given normally to women with ovarian cancer, and he doesn't have fall within the categories of that. Originally, my insurance had rejected it, but somehow or another he has the drug company paying for it. So he's trying this in addition to his chemotherapy. So I'm I'm assuming that he is in touch with someone who's also they're working hand in hand.
Yeah, and
Pretty sure.
it wouldn't hurt to ask him. I don't think he would be offended because I know, in the past, several physicians and Dr. Missal will tell you that he's in contact with, several different physicians. I could even email him and ask him, if he know the name in particular, he would tell me.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I know Clarissa had some experience in Jersey, and I'm not too sure which hospital Carlos was in. Clarissa, I don't know if you have anything you may want to share.
Yeah, my husband got originally treated at New York Presbyterian Hospital, the Weill Cornell division. He saw Dr. Anna Molina over there, and I thought that was really good relationship because she was colleagues with Dr. Tanair, who works with Dr. Missal. So when my husband originally got diagnosed with RMC, she was in contact with him on seeing what his recommendations would be. And then there was at some points where we didn't necessarily need to travel to MD Anderson, and we could get treated locally. So we went back to her, and she kept in contact with Dr. Missal, just on the treatments, and then we would come back to MD Anderson to get scans. But we eventually had to go to MD Anderson because the trials and the treatments that they had for my husband weren't working anymore. And this particular trial was only given at MD Anderson.
Okay. I know he's good at doing that, so don't hesitate to just ask the physicians if they've talked to him. Now, Aisha, you say your mom is in the hospital now?
Yes, my mom is in the hospital now. It's kind of funny because she just FaceTimed me on my iPad. So I'm listening to the call and I'm speaking with her on the iPad. She's
Okay.
being treated at the American Cancer Treatment Center, but they'll be closing in June. So next month we'll be transferring her over to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. But right now, the first person who spoke, I believe his son name is Micah. She's dealing with the same issue with the stomach pain. And right now she's at Georgetown Hospital in Washington, D.C., and they've been doing scans. So what he said was kind of informative to me because they've been doing scans for her and they're telling her her stomach is inflamed, but they don't know why. And they're not sure if it's a side effect from her immunotherapy. And she was taking the same immunotherapies as your son. I think it was the Debo mixed with the other name that I forgot. And they transitioned her from the 2 doses to now she's doing 1. And since she's been on the 1, her stomach has been inflamed. So
Mm,
she's been in the hospital for about a week now.
okay. Now when was she diagnosed?
She was diagnosed in December of 2020. It started off with the pain in her left side. Initially, they didn't know what it was, so they just went ahead and they saw a mass on her kidney and they removed the kidney. And from there, they were still unsure at the hospital she was at what it was. And later, after removing the kidney, they found out that it was RMC cancer and they diagnosed her from there with that.
So did they know it was RMC on that
Not
diagnosis?
prior to removing the kidney. So
Okay.
afterwards, they were able to diagnose it.
Okay. Now, have they been in contact with doctors at MD Anderson here?
No, we have not been in contact with it. I've actually been doing my research, and I just found out about Anderson Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll definitely be in contact with them soon.
Okay. If you will, I could put my email in
Okay, that'll be
chat
perfect.
box. I think you have my number, but if you would email me with your information, and I can, we can chat offline about it.
Okay, that's perfect. Sounds great.
Yeah, because I think the sooner that we can get them involved, since Houston is the only one that has the clinical trial, unfortunately,
Yes.
and they have been dealing with this. So I know he does not mind talking to the physician.
And that would be great, very helpful. And she's actually on my iPad right now listening in.
What is her name?
Her name is Irena.
Hi, Irena.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
We're fine. We're pulling for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have an awesome daughter. She's really trying to get some answers here.
Yes, she is. She is so awesome. I'm so blessed to have her in my life.
Yeah, we have a nice community here. Everybody is eager to help each other. You know, it's small, but we're a good group.
Yes, I can tell from just the little thing, just the little part that I was here on. I can tell.
Okay, you have any questions for us?
Not, not just right now. I'm going through a little something right now. I'm having new symptoms. My chest is hurting really bad right now, and they just took an EKG. They said it was okay, but my chest is hurting. I have a productive cough, and my right leg is swollen up so bad.
Mm. Well, just don't talk too much. I mean, we're here for you. Maybe Asia can call them and see if they can, give her something, Asia, for the cough. I mean, if she has a bad chest, I mean, if her chest is hurting, the cough is not going to help.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't hurt to call and ask for the nurse in charge. I mean, you have to be an advocate for her. Unfortunately, they are not letting people in the hospital, and that's what's so sad.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
really sad. But we're here for you. You can call me anytime.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll definitely be in touch and making calls. And like you mentioned, this is a new system. So I'm just hearing this for the first time today as well as you're hearing this.
Okay. Well, you're not alone. I know being a caregiver is not easy. Um, I was a caregiver for my son, for those of you who don't know the story, for 15 months with my adult son. So we love the caregivers too. You need love.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes. So we know we got. All right. Anybody, anything else? Did you get some of the questions answered about the immunotherapy, Laurie?
Yes, I think we did. Thank you very much.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything that's going on?
Well, I was just wondering, like, if that pain could be related to like a pea blood clot. I'm not, because I know like Carlos had like pain with that, and he ended up having like a pea blood clot. But I don't remember like what tests they do for that.
Yeah, I mean, I know they do the Doppler to check for blood clots. It's hard to say. I mean, if they did an X-ray, I would say sometime when you have tumors growing, um, you can have that cough or you can feel congested or the tightness, but it's hard to say. And if they said that the chest X-ray was clear, I'm not too sure. Or it could be a side effect from whatever drug they're giving her as
Right.
well. Yeah. What about you, Andre? Did you have any issues with coughing at all?
I didn't have any issues with coughing. I did experience what Carissa was talking about, the PE blood clots. So I was on Xarelto for a long time. I guess they wanted to kind of make sure I didn't develop any more after I got my kidney removed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I dealt with for a good little while, and I experienced some chest pains and stuff. That was mostly towards the beginning, as after my surgery or whatever.
So I know they had Chris on Lovenox.
Yeah, I had the Lovenox shot, and I was glad they switched me to the Xarelto pill, the pill.
You ain't like that needle, did you?
Uh-uh.
Oh my goodness. Is anybody else? Any burning desires? Or I can just share with you about our walk that we had.
I
Uh,
did. I did want to talk about radiation. I think is it Michael? That's his name?
yes, Micah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay, is your son currently on? Is he currently doing radiation now?
No. The radiation was targeted to certain. He had radiation twice, and that was the first one was he had when everything started. Had extreme back pain, up shoulder, and what it was a tumor was touching a nerve. So that was used to shrink that tumor, and without it, it was on pain medication. It's just he's not one. He doesn't like to take any type of opioid or anything. So the idea was to get rid of that, which it did work. The second time again was to slow down the growth when that was in his pelvic area. That was also targeted. So those were the only two instances where it was used. So and it got to the point and both detrimental to it. They did
Milton,
help.
you're breaking up a little
Si
bit.
no nos vemos.
Okay, let me see if I can
Me
take
toca
this off.
retroceder. Uy, no nos vamos a ver. Pero
Can you put
nada.
your Daniel? Can you put the on mute for a minute?
Pero qué raro.
Pues sí.
¿Será que vuelvo a usar el link?
Sí, esa Bianca. Ese.
Can you, Diana, Daniel? Can you put the mic on mute
Fui yo quien dio la cámara.
for just a minute? Sorry. I'm sorry, Milton. I'm
Pero
sorry.
mira, la candela circo, bueno, lo pongo yo para estirarme y se va acomodando ahorita.
You should have a little mic down at the bottom that you could put it on mute. You see it?
¿Y será que podemos hacer una prueba si le hacemos de tu computador si también sale así?
No, si es que salió ahí bien. O sea.
Sí, creo que aquí arriba está un mal internet.
Richie, that might be
Debería
why
ser
they
hacia
can't. I
abajo.
don't think they can hear us yet.
Mira,
Pero eso es lo mismo que salió ahorita.
Do you see the mute button, Daniel? With a little microphone where you can mute it? Down at the bottom of the screen.
Solamente lo pruebas en el tuyo y ya.
Sí, pero les tocaría irse. ¿Sabes cómo estamos?
Okay, Milton, go on and try now.
Te mando el link por WhatsApp. Ese, entonces, ¿qué creíste que pasó? Entonces lo vi.
no sé.
Como que una llamada.
You guys
No, yo,
have
Laurita, yo creo que hasta puede funcionar eso. Te lo puedo mandar el link a tu... Te puedo reenviar el correo que me...
Envíame el correo mío de laura.alfayase.
Ay, por cierto, si me tenía que mandar un video para Cristian y no me lo...
Entonces, pero mira, es que no se enciende en otro lado. Sí, mi amor, ya te lo envié.
¿Pueden oírnos?
Laurie.
¿Pueden oírnos?
Cierro esto, ¿no?
No lo cierres ese. No lo cierres.
Teresa, do you know how I can mute them?
Esperemos a ver si es que de pronto es a las 8 en punto que abre ese curso, ¿no?
Let's see.
Es como lo que se me ocurre.
Maybe in the top right corner, Richie, of your screen, there might be a control setting.
Maybe here. I see something. Let's see. I think it's muted now. I know. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I got him.
Good.
I got it muted. Okay, go ahead. Milton, I'm sorry. You there?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I pressed the wrong button, so and that got disconnected. Yeah, I forgot my place. I mean, the radiation itself. Did I cover that?
Yes,
What
you were
was
talking about the
yeah,
radiation. I apologize.
those are the only two times that he had the radiation, and then that was done to shrink the tumors because of his situation.
Okay.
So I hope I answered Andre's question.
Did that answer your question, Andre?
Yeah, it did. I was just trying to get some more understanding because in my case, I thought that I took radiation and in combination with the chemo, and I thought that was very effective in targeting those cancer cells that became less effective against like the regular chemo or whatever. So they started me off with chemo and immunotherapy, and it was effective before, but I guess over time it became less effective. So they went in and targeted those cancer cells, especially by those lymph nodes where my kidney was removed. So those cells were, issues with, or they were less effective to the chemo drug. So they really went in and targeted those cells with the radiation in combo with in combination with chemo. So I thought that was very effective in my case. Just wanted to share that.
That's great.
I just want to add that that's basically what. So Andre, Micah's experience was similar to yours as far as their plan. So that's consistent, except that they just it was first the radiation and the immunotherapy, and then they did not target where the kidney was removed, and that was where there was continuous growth after it was removed because it was so focused because the main concern at the time was that the cancer that was in his lungs, and they figured that it had metastasized from his kidney and moved up to his lung area. So that's where everyone's focus was on.
Yeah, same in my case. It had metastasized from my kidney and my lymph nodes and moved up to my lungs or whatever. So, yeah, I think that radiation really. I think I took that in combination with the carboplatin and the paclitaxel. So they went in and did that, and after so many cycles, I came back with a clear scan. So I think it was effective.
Exactly. That is great. Okay, we have Diana and let's see. Can we unmute? How do we unmute it? We got it muted. Okay. Yes. All right. Are you there now? Can you hear us? I mean, are you able to talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
We are very fine. Thank you.
Good. I understand we have some pretty good news as far as Nicholas is concerned.
Yes, we are very, very happy for the surgery.
Okay, you would like to share your experience? What's been going on?
Uh,
Cuéntales, yo hablo mejor inglés. Okay, we have the surgery on 24th March, and doctors could extract 100% of the tumor. Last week we have the pathology, and the pathology showed that it was inactive. That means that the treatment was worked perfect, and I think it's very important for all that we are in this meeting that the treatment that Dr. Pablos Masowell sent to us is very, very good. The doctor said that the tumor, for the people that know in the others meeting, the tumor that Nicholas had was 7 centimeters. It was very, very big, and it was the second tumor because the first he has in the left kidney, and the other was in the aorta renal. And for these 7 centimeters with 4 cycles of chemotherapy, it was in 2.8 centimeters, more than a half. And when they extract the tumor, they say the unique cells that had, it was absolutely inactive. And now Dr. Dr. Pablo said we need to do many analyses for resonance, for tomography, bones, and yes, and for the head, a resonance for the head too. And yesterday we have the tomography and the bones analyzed, and it was clean too. We are really, really happy. For us, it's incredible. It's incredible because we are only at the moment. How do you say llorando? Crying,
but not for sad, because we are in this moment. We are happy, of course. Mm, we have the meeting with the oncology Colombian team in 28, and well, and after the following scans, they decide together with Dr. Paulos, what's the next, what we follow. But apparently they say we continues with the same chemo, the same cycles, 2 or 4 cycles. But well, doctors have the decision in this moment, but we are happy.
And Dr. Pablos congratulate the Colombian local team because it was a very hard work for surgeries and 24 chemos.
So how is Nicholas tolerating the chemotherapy?
Nicholas is tolerating very well. I think very well. It's of course hard. The first week is with cisplatin, and it was in the hospital, but it is incredible the force. He's very strength, and I think the children are playing and forgetting absolutely about the sick. Then I think the attitude is really, really important. And after the surgery, when we say the tumor is out, he was other person. He is really, really say, I am cured. I am. And he knows he continues with the chemos, but it's other step. We are really, really happy, and we want to share you for the people that is in the crisis moment, and the other that coming. So the Pablos and the MD Anderson know exactly how is that we need to fight for the RMC.
That is wonderful. I'm so glad he's doing well. It's always good to hear the milestones. That is wonderful.
Hey, I got a quick question, Richie.
Yes.
Hey, what chemo was Nicholas on?
What is he on, Diana? Was it the carboplatin?
Okay, cool. Remember, the surgery was in July, and he started chemo in August 2020. And the first is cisplatino. I will
Mm-hmm.
say in Spanish, and Anthony is very close to English. Cisplatino is the first, with gencitabine,
Uh-huh.
gemcitabine,
Carboplatin,
and
Carboplatin.
in the second cycle, because each, well, I don't know what is your experience, but in our experience are first cycle and second cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But we will write you, but is carboplatin, of course, is it, and bortezomib. Bortezomib, that means something for you in English. Bortezomib, bortezomib. It was it's not for bortezomib. It's not for solid tumor. It's for liquid. I think it's more hematological, and it was in our case, it was the only element that we must to go to a juice for apply this medicine, this element to our son, because it was forbidden for children in Colombia.
Mm.
So it was bortezomib. Bortezomib, it was complicated, but it's a hematological solution more than for the solid. And Diana is writing for you Plaxitaxel, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and bortezomib. But I don't know if in English we don't know how to translate it. Sorry.
That's okay. Maybe Rick knows.
Yes, but I have the schema in English exactly that Dr. Pablo said. I can share you too.
And I think Femina is in the same process.
Yes,
With the
Femina is exactly like us.
Okay.
Femina
Yeah.
in Greek is the same, exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the
It's
same
in
job.
the chat box, you guys. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions for Diana and Daniel? Okay. All righty. Rick has joined us. Rick, is anything you would like to say tonight? We've been having a pretty good conversation here regarding immunotherapy. We have a couple of new people here on the call.
Oh, well, first of all, welcome everybody to the group. And I'm sorry I'm late. I've actually been running between two other groups. And then I suddenly remembered that you were running, and I thought I got to get over here quick.
I felt loved.
And I know, and so my congratulations to Richie, who seems to be doing a heck of a job moderating this group. I hope the captain's been helping her. Have you been
Oh,
helping,
yes.
Captain?
I have the captain and Clarissa. They've been helping
Yeah,
me. You've been
Okay.
I've been
doing
helping out,
well.
Rick.
Okay. I wanted to say a couple of things. It's interesting that you're talking about immunotherapy, and I'm sorry I wasn't on earlier. We are running a webinar at the end of the month on immunotherapy, but really more specifically for prostate cancer. Although I'm sure that the presenter would be happy to field some questions on RMC, and I would be happy to pose them to him. The presenter is a doctor called Larry Fong, and he's one of my all-time favorite doctors. I've known him for many, many years. He's on our advisory board. When I finish speaking, I'll put his link in there. And he's the co-director of the Cancer Immunology, the Scott Parker Cancer Immunology Center at UCSF. So Scott Parker, who I forget, he was Instagram or what's the music? What's the music website, Carissa?
Pandora?
And it could have been Pandora or one of those. He was the founder, and he made gobs and gobs and gobs of money. And he donated, I think, $250 million to set up 5 cancer centers at 5 different institutions, and then there's also a central one. And so Larry is the co-director of one of these centers at UCSF. And he's going to be talking about immunotherapy in general, specifically about using it early in the disease process, because we often think of that immunotherapy can only be used at the end of a disease process, and that really isn't the case. And the other thing that he's going to be talking about that I think may interest you, I don't know the situation with RMC, but he's going to be talking about the difference between cold tumors and hot tumors, because cold tumors don't respond well to immunotherapy, and the challenge is, how do we make a cold tumor a hot tumor? Certain diseases, melanoma, for example, it tends to be more of a hot tumor, and so we can give these immunotherapy drugs, and the cancer responds. But other cancers, we give them and we don't see a response, so we have to figure out what can we do with the immunotherapy to make the cancer more receptive. And that's one of the things that Larry's going to be talking about. That's going to be on April 29th. Yeah, April 29th. And it's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern, same time this meeting started. So we will be very, and it's free, and but you will need to sign up ahead of time. So I'll try and put the sign up link in the window for you too. We're literally just finishing the poster today.
No,
So
that
that's
sounds
all I
like
want
good
to say.
information.
Maybe said too much. Sorry.
No, I think that's going to be good information because there were several questions on immunotherapy.
Yeah, and I will say that I have a very good line into Larry. I mean, he's really he's probably one of the leading cancer immunologists in the country, and he's also an incredible guy, very compassionate. So if we have any specific RMC questions, I'll make sure that I get them to him, if not during the meeting, after the meeting. And you know, if Dr. Missal wants to reach out to Larry, I can make that happen. Or who's the other gent there? I've just lost his name. I'm having a brain
Dr.
freeze.
Shapiro? Daniel
No,
Shapiro?
no, the other senior doc at
Dr.
MD
Tanier? Tanier?
Tanier. Yeah, if Tanier wants to reach out to him, I can make that happen with pleasure.
Okay. I think Kwanzaa is who had the main question, wasn't she, Laurie?
Yes, she's looking at starting immunotherapy in May. So
Right.
I can certainly if you can put the link in the chat, I can make sure she gets it.
Sure. And what is she starting? What's she going to be starting with?
I suspect it'll be nivolumab and ipilimumab.
Nevo plus IPI?
Well, we don't really know yet. I actually haven't even seen her genetic markers, which just came back, I think, in the last week. So we
Okay.
actually don't have any idea what's going on. I just know that it's approved for different types of renal cancers and these types of not.
Yeah.
She's moved fairly far along in her treatment. Surprisingly, she started with a left side tumor, and the doctors decided to go to surgery first very quickly. And then she's been doing brutal chemo for 3 months.
Right.
And so they'll end the chemo at the end of this month. And right now she has clear scans. So we have not had the discussion about what the exact immunotherapy will be.
So, I know that when they give chemo plus, when they give an anti-PD-1 plus IPI, it's usually because the tumor is a cold tumor and they hope that the ipilimumab will turn it into a hot tumor and make it more responsive to the anti-PD-1 drug, whether it's nivolumab or pembrolizumab or whatever it is. So it makes me think that if you're thinking about a combination, RMC might be a cold tumor, but I don't know. But I'd certainly be able to connect you. Adam asked in the chat window about RMC questions. I don't think Dr. Fong is going to be able to help you, Adam, with RMC questions. He can help you with questions around immunotherapy. I would say that if they're RMC questions, they should be posed to Dr. Missal or Dr. Tania because they are the experts in that field. I'm sure that Larry's familiar with RMC, but he's certainly not an expert. Where he is an expert is how, what sort of drugs might be appropriate for treating renal medullary carcinoma.
And I know they're working on a third trial that's coming up soon. I don't have the specifics, but I know they're trying to get funding for a third trial at MD Anderson, which is good.
Well, if we could get the link, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll source that for you in 1 second. I've got to turn the meeting back to you though, Richie, so that you can, and maybe Adam can talk up a little bit about what sort of information on RMC he's looking for so you can connect him to the right doctors.
Right, because, well, Adam doesn't have RMC. He has sickle cell trait, and he's just trying to, get more information on RMC. He has an old computer, so he's been typing in the chat box for us.
Okay, so again, if that's what you're looking for, Dr. Fong isn't the right doctor to be posing those questions to. It's probably somebody at MD Anderson or one of the other docs that we know has great familiarity with RMC.
And I think too a good thing and I had put it in the chat box. We have a seminar that's coming up on next Thursday. It's Sickle Cell Trait 360. It's a full spectrum education. Dr. Missal will be talking. And it's a lot of good information. They're talking about sickle cell trait, whether it's benign or not benign, which we know is not benign, but just to address some of the myths that's out there. We're talking about the kidney connection, and then of course family planning and pregnancy along with SCT. So it just will give you I guess a good foundation, because sickle cell trait is like the nucleus of all of these different diseases or what have you that's going on. So I think it would be really interesting. It is 5 hours long, but you do have to register. I could get the link and email it to everybody, or if you have access to Facebook, it's on both my page as well as the foundation page. But I think it would be good for everyone that has RMC or has an interest in RMC. Just give you another perspective of what sickle cell trait is doing to the community. Any other questions? Oh, now Um, well, I lost my train of thought. Lois. Lois in Greece, she sends her love. Fanita's in the hospital, I think, getting her chemotherapy. So she sends her love to everyone and is sorry that she's missed it this time. And I would like to say my hat's off to everybody here that participated in the 8th annual Keeping It Renal Global virtual fun walk. I mean, we had a great time. Everybody had their shirts on. Diana and Daniel and Nicholas and their daughter, they were there. Fanina and Lois, they had a huge team from Greece. I mean, my God, it was huge. They even, what is it, the graphics, RMC with human bodies. I mean, they and had a drone to fly over to take the picture of it. It was really neat. So I have to say it was very successful. Captain Sneed did his walk and also did a video. I am so proud of him. He did a very good job. Yeah. So you need to get your team next time. Get all those supporters behind you. We had Team Jersey. We had the UK involved. We had Greece and we had Colombia and then all over the United States. So it was nice. Really good time. Any other questions for tonight? Is any pressing or desired questions or something that we need for next month that, we may have someone to come in to talk on a particular topic? I can work on that. Try to get Dr. Missal back if you need him back, or Dr. Daniel Shapiro. Any?
Richie, I guess in case I missed the meeting on the 29th, I'll be interested in, although I could Google it, but I'd rather hear from the source of the cold tumor and the hot tumor, and its relationship to immunotherapy, because it just hearing that it raised a flag with what Micah was going through. I could see why his oncologist decided to try the immunotherapy before chemo, since that's his initial treatment. And I guess to find out more as to comparatively why it didn't stop the aggressiveness of the cancer, and we had to abandon it.
Okay.
So I guess a little bit more on, I guess a summary of what occurs in that meeting on the 29th.
Okay, so here's what I recommend you do. I just put the link in the chat window. Do you know where the chat window? Who is it that's speaking? I'm sorry.
It's Milton.
Milton, yeah.
Milton. So Milton, do you have access to the chat window?
I have it. I see the link.
Okay. If you register, you'll not only will you get the link for the webinar, but you'll also get notice of the recording. And the recording will be posted in a couple of places on our YouTube channel, and we'll also blog it out. But then for sure, if you miss it, you'll be able to watch the recording.
Fantastic.
Okay, and
thank you.
Larry will have slides, and we will post those slides with the recording, probably not on YouTube channel. Those will be posted on our website, so that if somebody can only join by phone, they can follow along with the slides. And I've asked the guys who are organizing this, who are both boffins themselves, to make sure that the slides are understandable, because I'm very concerned that this may get pitched over all our heads. But like I said, I've known Larry a long time, and he's very good about making things simple. He's been a doctor to several people that we've navigated and mentored, and he does get it. And so As you'll see, I don't have the, I suppose I can share the screen. Now, I'm trying to do about 5 things at once here. So let me first of all put a link to Larry in here. And then I'll share the poster, because I think the poster will say a lot about Dr. Fong. So here's a link right now, and you can click on this link, and this is the photograph we're using on the poster. Larry Fong, and there's a great story behind the photograph, but there's a link. And what I'll do right now, hold on a minute, and let me get the poster up on our, here we go. Okay, so here's the poster. Let me share my screen, which I should be able to do. Let me just see, I need to be a presenter. Okay, make presenter. I'm going to share my screen. And let's see, is that coming into anybody yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. There we go. Okay, so let me, if you can see that picture, you make it a little bigger. Let's see if I can make this bigger. This, can you see that picture now?
Yes.
With Dr. Fong? Dr. Fong, and so the story behind this picture, it's a wonderful picture. I love this picture.
So is he who's Superman?
Who is Superman? Superman was a very, very dear friend of mine who I met through navigation, who was diagnosed with de novo metastatic prostate cancer. And this guy, as you can see, was a complete character. And one of Larry's claim to fame is that he developed a dendritic cell immunology called Sipuleucel T, or Provenge, which is used in prostate cancer and for advanced prostate cancer. And Jerry, my buddy, had just finished getting his 3 infusions. What they do is they take your blood, and they separate out the plasma, and then they work on the dendritic cells in a lab, and they infuse them with something, and then they put that all back into you. And supposedly the idea is that it makes your immune system more capable of fighting off disease. Not supposedly, it does. Anyway, Jerry had just finished his last infusion. He'd had 3 sessions of this, and he had an appointment with Larry coming up, and it was Halloween. So he drove over from Oakland to UCSF, dressed up as Superman, and he parked his truck and he walked into the hospital with his Superman outfit on. And there he is with his doctor, who developed this Superman product. So that's the story.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sounds like it'll be some good information. And you guys, if you're interested, tune in next week. Is it next week or week after next, right? Week after next.
The
29th?
There's going to be a week from 2 weeks from Thursday.
Okay. All right. And then I also wanted to mention that Karen is not on because, her father passed away, I think last week. They had his funeral, so.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, just keep her in prayer, and I guess as far as tonight, it is now 8:26. If we don't have anything else to say, I guess it will be next month. Let's see. What is the next? Let's see, calendar. It will be May 11th.
May 11th. Yeah.
And if you guys have anything you want to hear that we may can bring in someone, we will certainly do that. You just need to let me know. Okay, and we're so happy Nicholas is doing well. Fanina is doing well. Andre is doing well.
Diana and Danielle just put something in the chat window. It's certainly a bit above my pay grade because I don't know enough about sickle cell. But
They're,
Rick, you know anything about?
they're doing, from what I understand, and as far as sickle cell anemia, they're doing some stem cells that's supposed to been, it's been pretty promising for sickle cell anemia. But I think one thing that will really stop it all is the education, and we're going to be talking about that in our seminar on next week, having people educated as far as the different blood uh, classifications, whether, you know, if you have a sickle cell trait or what have you before you get married. So basically doing counseling, and that will stop a lot. But as far as I know, the only thing that I've really heard as far as sickle cell anemia is some of the stem cell therapy that they've been doing. All righty.
Any questions, Danielle, on that?
And I can get more information for you guys and email you. But that's the latest that I've heard. Okay. All right, you guys, it's been fun. I've enjoyed all of you. We thank you for joining us. And then before I go, Rick, I just wanted to introduce you to Milton. Milton lives in New Jersey. His son, Mika, was diagnosed latter part of last year. He's 20 years old with RMC. And he also did the walk. So I'm proud of him. Yes, yes.
Fantastic.
So,
And so I see that's mdwade@yahoo.com. So we'll make sure that you get the reminder. We'll be sure you get the reminder, Milton. And you have found a fantastic source of information here. And like I say, if you've got specific questions that you want about immunotherapy, cancer immunotherapy and RMC, you can send them to Richie or you can send them to me, rd@ancan.org. And after the seminar, after the webinar, if Larry hasn't answered them, I'll ask him to answer them, and I'm sure he will.
Appreciate that.
Okay, for sure. Richie, can I talk to you just for a second when everybody goes?
yes.
Great. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Carissa,
Good night.
I hope you come into the caregivers group, the next one.
Oh, yeah.
You're very welcome. Okay? Just saying.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good night for all people. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.